My message this morning, it's going to be a little bit different, okay? Because I'm going to intersperse some poetry, some music, and a couple other things. I'm going to let you be surprised. Happy Mother's Day again to all mothers joining us in this live stream, and all mothers around the world. Today we acknowledge that we are all children. We are all someone's child. And this greeting leaves absolutely no one out. We are all children of a different mother. We are offspring, expressions or outpressions of the Spirit of God, our divine parent. There are so many beautiful poems and great stories that can be shared with our siblings, as well as with our spiritual brothers and sisters about our mother and about mothers in general. I'd like to begin by sharing a poem written by Jean Kay entitled Happy Mother's Day. Jean wrote, Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Moms, dads, daughters, sons, we're all related to mothers, and there are some special ones. Some who take on a mothering role are not related through birth, but love as much as any mother could. That type of love sustains our earth. Some men take on a dual role. As stay-at-home dads, they excel, which gives mothers opportunities to have an outside career as well. Adoptive parents are special. They open their home and their heart, providing a child with a loving bond and a family in which they are part. Mothering is tender, loving care, a strong desire to guide and protect, to keep children safe from harm. Mothers of all kinds deserve respect. Happy Mother's Day, Jean Kay. Excuse me. Oprah Winfrey declared, the choice to become a mother is the choice to become one of the greatest spiritual teachers there is. Isn't that beautiful? If you're a mother, think of it that way. I think mothers are heroes, which is why a comic strip printed in the Salina Journal in the year 2016, 5 years ago, was clipped and placed in my Funnies book. Some of you know how I enjoy insightful comic strips and t-shirt slogans. Well, this daily comic strip in the Salina Journal is called Baby Blues, and it's created by Rick Kirkman and Jerry Scott. The comic strip follows the adventures, or I should say, misadventures of a young family. Wanda is the mother, Daryl is her husband, and they are raising their 3 children, 2 girls, Zoe, who's about 9 years old, and little girl Ren, who not too long ago began walking and getting into her own kind of baby mischief. The middle child is their 7-year-old son, Hamlish. They call him Hammy for short. I think that this particular Baby Blues strip shares a powerful understanding of the important role that mothers play for us. And this strip, I'm going to share it with you, has 6 frames. Okay, this is the first frame. It has Wanda in her super mother outfit. Now, in frame number 2, we see that Mom, Hammy, and Rin are the stars. Dad is not in the strip, and Zoe shows up later. But Hammy is being very observant of his mother throughout this particular comic strip. Here is the play-by-play of the active frames. In this frame number 2, Mom runs over, looking like a baseball player sliding into home plate. Or, on the other side, sliding in the dirt to catch a ball that's been batted over first base, to catch Rin before her baby girl hits the ground in her fall. And frame number 3 shows Wanda out of the blue running over just in time to catch with her bare outstretched hand a pop-up ball that is about to be smashed into one of the windows on the first floor of their house. A ball that Hammy hits. Excuse me. In frame number 4, Wanda is carrying Ren, and Hammy is walking beside them, all of them taking a walk on the sidewalk, when all of a sudden a car, trundling way too fast, comes up beside them in the street, splashing a giant puddle of water onto Wanda, but she is so attuned to any threat that lightning fast she whips Ren, who is in her arms, up and around out of the path of the splashing deluge. Wanda gets drenched, but the baby is safe and dry. Hammy watches it all. Now, in frame number 5, this is really, really good. Wanda and Hammy have apparently gone to the supermarket. And while Wanda is about to put the 5 bags of groceries that she's holding into the trunk of the car, she spies a little old lady with her walker crossing the parking lot right in the path of a runaway grocery cart. Quickly, Wanda thrusts her right leg out just in time to push away and divert this cart before it crashes into the elderly woman, who is oblivious to the danger that she's in. Hammy watches his mom in action. In the very last frame of the comic strip, we'll see that the family is now at home. Zoe is with her brother, and they're sitting on the couch, both of them reading their favorite superhero comic books. And Zoe asks her brother, "Who's your favorite hero?" Without a twitch of his eye, Hammy responds, "Mom!" I heartily agree with Hammy. Mothers are heroes. Mothers rescue us in so many ways, so many times. I'd like to share a poem by Khalil Gibran, which reflects on the relationship of mothers to their children. Gibran wrote, "You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the books from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth into life." Mothers come in all sizes and shapes, and although men also have feminine qualities and can also nurture children, and they do, women have masculine qualities. But we have been given the opportunity to be the focal point in this life for the expression of the feminine aspect of God, while men have been given the opportunity to fine-tune the masculine qualities. There are all kinds of mothers: those who have given physical birth to children, adoptive mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, stepmothers, even fairy godmothers, I do believe. There are aunts and sisters and nieces and cousins and women teachers and friends and coaches and more who have served in some way as mothers for us. For some of us, these other kinds of mothers have stepped in and stepped up, helping our birth mothers, or helping us when our own birth mothers were absent or distant from us because of separation caused by death or illness or some other life circumstance. All who have supported us, encouraged and inspired us, and even challenged us to live our best life, and have shown us by their example how to give the best of ourselves back to life, are mothers to us. Yet, it is often not until later in our lives that we realize the depth of our mother's love, as we see in it how much our mothers have done for us, even given up for us in their time, their talent, their attention, as well as their inner and outer resources. Sometimes in our past, we may have been like these sons and daughters. After dinner on Mother's Day, A mother was washing the dishes when her teenage daughter wandered into the kitchen. Horrified to see her mother at the sink, she exclaimed, "Oh, Mom, you shouldn't be washing the dishes on Mother's Day." The mother was touched by this thoughtfulness, and she was about ready to take her apron off and give it to her daughter when the daughter added, "They'll keep till tomorrow." Oh, and another one. A 15-year-old boy came bounding into the house, and he found his mother lying down in bed. He asked her, "Mom, are you sick or something?" She replied that, as a matter of fact, she did not feel too well. Her concerned son replied, "Well, don't worry a bit about dinner. I'll be happy to carry you down to the stove." And I have one more. One man realized how important his mother was to him, and he expressed this understanding in this way. He found the perfect Mother's Day card for his mom, one that he felt expressed the feelings that he as a man had in real terms. The card read, "Now that we have a mature adult relationship, there's something I'd like to tell you, Mom. You're still the first person I want to run to when I fall down and go boom." Doesn't that say it all? Our mother and mothering persons in our lives have been there when we have fallen down and circumstances have gone boom. Again and again, they help us get back up on our feet and move forward in life again. I very much enjoy the writings of Father Richard Rohr. He's a Franciscan friar, an ecumenical teacher who bears witness to the deep wisdom of Christian mysticism and the traditions of action combined with contemplation. He's founder of the Center for Action and Contemplation and academic dean of the Living School in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he's lived since 1986. One of his more recent books, called The Universal Christ, How a Forgotten Reality Can Change Everything We See, Hope For, and Believe, is a powerful book about the true meaning of Christ. And he shares Unity's concept that the Christ is the Spirit of God, uniquely expressing within Jesus and uniquely expressing in and through each one of us. Father Rohr wrote a message for us all on Mother's Day. And he wrote this in the year 2012. It was on his podcast, but I liked it so much that I made a copy and kept it. He said, "I am so fortunate that today, after 6 years of living abroad, I get to spend Mother's Day with my mother. As I have previously written about in a very early post, the Mother Heart of God. Mothers have been very important in my spiritual journey. It was only when I began to see the image of God as a compassionate mother that I've been able to change what I believe God truly is, love." Sometimes, when we are going through hard times, all we really need is that mother hug. The all-embracing hug that doesn't judge but loves us unconditionally. The mother that asks us to relax in her arms and allows us just to breathe or sob or be angry. Some of us don't always have a great image of mother, but I find it so amazing how we tend to find mothers all around us. If our biological mother wasn't the image of love that we needed, we usually end up finding a mother that helps guide us along our life journey. I think that is so true, and thank God for that. Rohr continues by writing, mothers in our lives are guides into the deeper, more connected things of life. In the more exhausting moments of the past few months, I've had many mothers around me, he wrote, that have let me be and have embraced me for who I truly am. Today, I honor mothers in my life, and I thank God that she truly is a mother to all, even when we don't realize it. Yes, Richard Rohr, God is a mother to all of us, even when we forget our divine parentage. Unity teachings work constantly to remind us of our intimate connection with God. We give thanks for the mothers and other women in our lives who, in loving ways, and in caring about us have taught us how to be love able as we take care of ourselves and others. I say love able because we are all born lovable. God made us this way. But as we grow and face hardships and challenges in life, we often forget that our true nature is love. And we have to be reminded by the love of another. We strive to be always at the ready for an opportunity to be love in expression. And this is what I think of as being love enabled. This is what true mothers, biological and otherwise, strive to teach us to do. They teach us how we may become love able. Thank you. God bless you. Okay, sorry. Now, as we move into a time of quiet reflection, as we think of the gift that God has provided for us in our mother and mothers of all kinds, let's choose to relax our concerns for the day, closing our eyes and ears to the sights and sounds around us. Let's focus our attention on our breath. With each inhalation, let's imagine that we're breathing in what peace feels like. And let it move through our mind and body, pushing out with every exhaled breath any worry, any tension, any stress or strain about today, about this afternoon or tonight or the future. Let go concerns you may have had about the doings of your life circumstances and even what's happening in our country and the world right now. Let yourself be here right now in this place of consciousness now. Resting quietly in mind, in heart. Centered in God, our source of spiritual strength, we steady our thoughts for this time of reflection. We enter the sanctuary of silence within, giving ourselves time to unify our mind, heart, and being with God, our source. Our human thoughts are elevated, and we know the truth that is spiritual strength. And we breathe this awareness of God's presence. We breathe in this awareness of God's presence of love in our mothers and all those who serve as mothers in our life. Open and receptive blessings, and allowing these blessings to flow through us to all of these others. And Mother's Day also gives us another opportunity to express another aspect of love, and that is forgiveness. Because as humans, we're not always perfectly expressing the love that God is within us. We make mistakes, and we hurt others as well as hurting ourselves. Forgiveness is an expression of love which is often so needed for our healing. Let's take a moment now to think of our mother or mothers, whether they be on this side of life or passed on to the other side of life eternal. If we have any grievances against them, if we have been holding anything against our mother for not being perfect, for the times she was not what we felt we needed her to be while we were growing up, for disappointing her and letting her down at times. Let's choose, I combined that, for her disappointing us and not being what we needed at the time. Let's choose now to forgive and release these thoughts and feelings so that this Mother's Day marks a new level of our being free to be love able. Breathe deeply and express this affirmation silently. Today I let go of the past and I forgive my mother for not being what I needed her to be when I was growing up. I release thoughts and feelings of hurt or disappointment that she may have brought into my life. I am free now from these negative thoughts, feelings, and their effects in my life. I thank and bless my mother for the learning opportunity she provided to make me a stronger, more self-sufficient person today. Thank you, God. And now, also, Mother's Day calls us to forgive ourselves. If we find ourselves judging our mothers or other mothers critically for past behavior, if we have suffered with the realization that we have not been perfect children to our mothers, we may well have brought feelings of hurt and disappointment to our mother at times. And even now, we may regret some of the things that we have said or done to our mothers. But today, on Mother's Day, we can free ourselves. We can be a mother to ourselves. Today, we can forgive ourselves. Take a moment with me now to breathe deeply and silently affirm this statement of release. I let go of my past behavior. I forgive myself for any hurt or disappointment which I may have brought into my mother's life. I am free now from these negative thoughts, feelings, and their effects in my life. I am free to feel the freedom of now being love able. We are love able when we recognize our own worth and value enough to stop doing what causes us to feel stressed out, overwhelmed, guilty, or shamed. To be love able means to feel free enough to give ourselves some consideration while we are also taking care of others. It means that we have to stop doing for others what they can and need to do for themselves. In this way, we can have space to tend to our own nurturance and time to work on healing our own wounds. We are, as I said, also mothers to ourselves. Being a love-able person is a choice we make about how we shall respond to life, the people in it, and the circumstances that life brings to us. And now, as we begin to move from this time of reflection, let's allow ourselves to feel a sense of gratitude for our mother and for all who have served as mothers in some capacity in our lives, sharing the nurturing qualities of the Spirit of God, our most sacred divine parent. We feel gratitude as we acknowledge our oneness with God and with every other child of God. And moving from this time of meditation, we focus on our breath. We breathe deeply and begin to stretch our body as we move our awareness back to the sights and sounds around us. When you are ready, open your eyes. Starting today, this Mother's Day, let's mother ourselves by choosing whether ugly, angry people will make us fearful, self-denying victims, or challenge us to be strong, capable, loving, and forgiving expressions of God. All that is what we are. And now for our benediction, we're going to share the Unity Prayer Protection, but we're going to share it in its more original form. And as we state this first, let's state this prayer protection for our mother and all mothers in our lives and all mothers throughout the world, whether they are birth mothers or one of the other kinds of mothers. Okay? We want to bless them with this prayer protection. Repeat after me in parts. The light of God surrounds you. Together, the light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. Speak to them. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. Together, the power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Together, the presence of God watches over you. Where you are, God is. Together, where you are, God is. And now, let's affirm this prayer protection in this particular form for all of us. In parts. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you again for being with us here on Mother's Day. And have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon with your mother, with your mothering persons, with your friends. Okay. It's kind of cloudy here in Salina, but you know, go ahead and take your light out there, okay? And even though it's overcast, it will be bright. God bless you.